The Haason Reddick New York Jets saga continues. We've got more details to share. Plus, we'll give you the latest from New York Jets training camp and joint practice and preseason coming this week. Let's roll.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
You're fucking
Poppin' everybody, Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your friggin' podcast, people. And we're here on a hump day in the middle of the morass of New York Jets training camp. But another twist in the Haason Reddick story, so we must continue to break it down and share the latest details. But we have the help of a special friend who joins us every Wednesday here on the show. He's one of the best in the friggin' business. His name, Nick Ferry of Pro Football Network Athlete Sports. He's one of the greatest of all time. And he graces us with his presence. What's up, Nick?
How's everything going, Paul? Great to be back on.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. You know, every time you think you kind of have a handle on this thing, all of a sudden it starts spinning all over the place. So what I'd like to start out with is Adam Schefter joined the Pat McAfee show yesterday, and there was an interesting clip that was going around from what Schefter said. So we'll go right to it. Again, this is courtesy of the Pat McAfee show. It's about 40 seconds, but it's interesting where Schefter believes everything stands at this moment. Roll the footage.
But both sides feel very strongly about their particular stances and where they're coming from. And the Jets feel like they don't want to reward a player who stayed away, demanded a trade without ever having taken part in a practice for that team. The player feels like, I'm an elite pass rusher. You need me to make a playoff run. You should be paying me what some of the top pass rushers are making, considering I'm making $14.25 million this year. And so they're at a standstill. So again, somebody's got to step forward and figure out a solution. They each have said what they want. It's gone public. We can debate the merits of each side. What are they doing to advance this, to get it solved before they open the season in San Francisco on Monday night in a few weeks?
A couple things to pull from this. So first off, I wrote this one down. A wise philosopher once said, let me make sure I get the quote here. A wise philosopher once said, when asked, will the New York Jets trade Haason Reddick this at any point? The wise philosopher said, quote, 0%. 0%. That wise philosopher was Nick Ferry. And we talked about that in a speculative nature. Like, you know, this is kind of weird and random, but would they ever just trade him? You know, it just go like, what the hell's going on here? Let's just trade him. And then apparently were you foretold the fact that apparently there would be eventually trade demands where this would actually come back up again. So first off here, Nick, why the trade request? Why the public nature of it? What was the intention? Is the intention literally to get traded, or is it another ploy to try to get Haason Reddick what he wants?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's a ploy for him to try and get leverage for what he wants, because as of right now, as he misses day 28 of practice with the Jets, including minicamp, including OTAs. I think in total it's like 28 practices, and that's all finable for the most part. And he has kind of really lost his leverage as a player, as a top pass rusher. And again, if we're being objective, I think we all can agree that Haason Reddick is an elite pass rusher. He is one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League. He is not wrong to have these demands. But the thing that gets in the way, of course, is the fact that, well, other teams had an opportunity to trade for him when he was in Philadelphia. And no one wanted to give him the $25 million that he was pushing for. So now it's up to him to either say, okay, I'm willing to come down on some certain contract points, but I need to see good faith from the Jets. So until I see good faith, I want out of here. And again, these trade requests are flimsy at best, because you saw Deebo Samuel request a trade, I think it was last season, and then like a week later the 49ers got him on a long-term deal. And the same thing could happen to Brandon Ayuk. It sounds like the 49ers are trying to actually extend him after he sort of asked for a trade. So what this is a bargaining trip, and it's just a little bit of the leverage. It's him trying to regain some of that because, quite frankly, he has none. It's not like he is holding all the cards here. The Jets have his contract in the books for the 2024 season. If he doesn't play, the Jets will simply roll that over to the 2025 season. So there really is no spot for him to look and say, I have the power here, I have the leverage. What this was the last play that he could make until opening day. Now, I saw Connor Hughes say this, and I do agree, where a little bit of leverage comes back to Reddick if week one comes, he's not playing, and the Jets cannot get to Brock Purdy. The defense is bad throughout. They need an extra pass rusher, and it's very, very obvious. That adds a little bit of leverage to him. But for the most part, he has nothing. He has absolutely no leverage because the Jets control every variable of this conversation, as they rightfully should. They have all the power. They have the money. So now it's up to Reddick to say, I will play ball. Otherwise, the Jets are very simply holding their heads back and saying, thank you. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything for this part.
It is a great point of the Connor Hughes thing. I didn't see that, but it makes a ton of sense. I made the reference earlier this week, and sorry to bring up this name. I'm sure this is a name you'd prefer is buried in long past. But Emmitt Smith in 1993, he told the Cowboys to pack it, and he did not report for the first 2 games of the season. They go 0-2. They're like, okay, you bastard. We'll pay you. And he ends up winning the Super Bowl MVP, and they win the Super Bowl that year after they bring him in. So they had some early struggles. Like, okay, we need this guy. Let's stop playing around. Yeah. So that's a fair point, that if we get to the season, because like if he's already skipping preseason games, why wouldn't he attempt at the very least, if he doesn't get what he wants, to skip potentially regular season games? And then thus, if the Jets are struggling in that department, he's like, man, boy, it looks like he could use a primo pass rusher to go in there, which again would be very interesting. So I go to this because it's kind of goes to what Adam Schefter said at the end, that he said the Jets are over here. And by the way, I totally understand the Jets' perspective on this. We're not going to reward a player that has basically told us to go kick rocks, just requested a trade publicly. Now he wants us. If we weren't bending the knee before, why God's green earth would we bend the knee now after that? You make us look like idiots if we just suddenly go, oh, okay, fine. You get the money. You make them look really bad with some of the other deals they have. But to Schefter's end point there, the Jets are over here, says, hey, you got to show up. Reddick's over here saying, I ain't showing up till I got the money. So now they're just staring at each other. What breaks this? What suddenly, potentially, who is this weird marriage counselor? Who's this weird mediator in the middle that's like, all right, guys, let's get in a room and try to figure this out? Is it the Jets stepping up to the plate? Is it Reddick? Is it Reddick's agent suddenly saying, okay, enough's enough? Are we trying to do this thing? Like, what gets these guys in the same room? Because until we get there, it feels like this could drag on.
Well, and I will say,
yeah.
What was it? The trade request on Monday. I've been on record saying this, Paul. I was on your show yesterday and saying it was two sides yelling at each other publicly and then going back into their corner because nothing changed. Okay, Reddick requested a trade. Well, the Jets aren't moving him. The Jets won't negotiate with a player until he shows up. And Reddick is not going to show up until he has his deal. So both sides did nothing to change the situation. They yelled at each other publicly, and they went back into their corners to sort of, make sure, okay, we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing. So to me, the only way that this gets resolved is if Reddick's bank account breaks. And what I mean by that is the more fines that come up for him, the harder it's going to be for him to support his family. Then we can have that conversation. But for all intents and purposes, it certainly sounds like Reddick is willing to sit out for as long as necessary. Again, whether that means the 2024 season, whether it means, a game into 2024, no one really knows because with Reddick, a lot of this has been just odd, really odd. And I think that's the best way to put it, because if you're his agent, and right now his agent is handling the 3 public holdouts in the National Football League. Another thing to point out, because he's trying to get his players his money, and he's doing so in a way that's kind of weird. Reddick can do all he wants, but the minute the money starts running out, he's going to miss out, and it's going to be ugly. And the more ugly this gets, the worse it's going to be for Haason Reddick. Listen, the Jets, whether they admit it or not, their aura, their mindset as an organization, it's not going to take that much of a hit with this. Yes, do they look bad trading for Reddick and then seeing him hold out? Of course, they absolutely do. I've said it on record before where Joe Douglas and the Jets look great with this statement of not trading Reddick, but that does not absolve them from the mistake of not making sure that this was actually solved in a contractual form when he was traded, or when John Franklin Myers was traded, when he added a little bit of leverage. They're not absolved from this, but they're not necessarily in the wrong either. This is a very complex situation. And when I look at the full thing, when you put it all together, the Jets don't have to do anything. They don't have to go to Reddick in his home and say, we will come to an agreement with you right now. That's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen because it would set a bad precedent with Sauce Gardner, with Garrett Wilson, Michael Carter. All these guys are going to be looking for long-term extensions after this season. So you have to add that into account. You want to make sure that these guys understand what Reddick is doing is not okay. Which goes back to Reddick and saying, okay, how long can your bank account hold? For Le'Veon Bell, it was a full year, and even then, things started to go later on in the year where he was struggling, and then he signed a lucrative deal with the Jets, but never really got all the guaranteed money because he wasn't really good with the Jets. He had run out of steam. He'd run out as an effective player. So I think ultimately when you're talking about Haason Reddick, it's going to come down to him. When his bank account breaks is when this will probably get resolved.
Again, we're speaking with Nick Faria here, baby, our Jets reporter from Athlon Sports on the Pro Football Network, all joining us here on the program. And, I saw Rich Samini yesterday tweet out the Roscoe Diner. Perhaps that could be a landing spot for those two. The great Hard Knocks, Revis, Jets, all that jazz was great. Let me ask you your gut on this, because it goes back to the beginning of the conversation that maybe this can sneak into the regular season. I first heard that as a possibility. Zach Rosenblatt brought it up on the Can't Wait podcast last week. He'll be joining us, by the way, on Friday. And he mentioned that, boy, I have a weird feeling this could go into the regular season. What's your gut say? Because the real difference, obviously, from this year's Jets from a defensive perspective and last year's Jets is JFM is gone. Bryce Huff is gone. Quentin Jefferson, another, he was a big-time pass rusher for the Jets. He had 6.5 sacks last year. He did very well for himself, too. He's gone. And now the Jets are asking replacements of Will McDonald, who's supposed to be playing more, and things of that nature, and then some other guys. Got a bunch of UDFAs sprinkled in there as well. What's your gut say that if the Jets line up, because it's almost, not fair is not the right word to say, but like this defense, even without JFM, even without Bryce Huff, even without Quentin Jefferson, and to this point, Haason Reddick as well, not being included in the mix, this defense will still look different because of Aaron Rodgers on the other side. Him being there should, even if the defense is less with Reddick, which I think we could all agree on, to your point, you say, we can all come to this table and say Reddick's an elite pass rusher. Yep, we're all in the same camp there. That's for damn sure. But even still, maybe this defense can continue to get away with things because Rodgers is so good, and they already had a lot of talent anyway of Quinnen Williams and Quincy Williams and Sauce and all these guys that I think you mentioned this wording before, that this Haason Reddick thing is like icing on the cake. That's how the Jets viewed it. Do you think the Jets defense can get away? And that sounds horrible. It sounds like the Jets defense is terrible or something. But do you think they can play without Haason Reddick for a period of time and survive until, again, the checks start hitting him in a way where he's like, okay, I got to come in, or the fines start hitting him where he comes in? Or do the Jets just need to make sure this does not drag into the regular season?
Well, I'll answer that question with a question. Do the Jets not have one of the best cornerback rooms in the National Football League?
Yep.
Do they not have one of the best linebacking cores in the National Football League? Do they not have an all-pro defensive tackle who has already recorded 10-plus sacks in a season?
Yeah.
Objectively, if we're going to be objective here, do the Jets necessarily need Haason Reddick? The answer to that is probably no, because when you have 4 all-pros, 4 first-team all-pros on your roster, most defenses don't even have one. Usually one is the barometer. The Jets have 4 right now, and that's not including Haason Reddick. So to say that this defense will suddenly be bad, I think is being disingenuous to who the coaching staff is and who the players are in this defense. When you have a lockdown corner like Sauce Gardner, you're going to be really good. But when you have a lockdown corner with 2 linebackers that are really, really good, now you're talking about a pass defense that you're not really going to need to worry about the pass rush overall. But then when you add in an all-pro defensive tackle, it's like, okay, then what the hell are we complaining about here? What are we doing here? Either the Jets defensive coaching staff is elite and this defense is elite before Haason Reddick got here, or they aren't, and Joe Douglas is a fool for not bending the knee and giving him $25 million. Guess what? The Jets aren't wrong for doing that. They're not wrong for saying, okay, you know what? We've got Sauce, we got Quincy Williams, we got Quinn Williams, we've got 2 young edge rushers that we'd like to see develop. We'll wait for him to make up his mind whether he wants to show up and be a New York Jet or not. So to me, I don't look at this and say that the Jets defense desperately needs Haason Reddick. To me, though, do they need him for the Chiefs, the Texans, some of these big-time matchups in the AFC? Probably. But can they beat the 49ers offensive line, which has looked garbage all training camp? Can they beat the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots? Yes. Like with Aaron Rodgers, with this offense the way it is, even if they're like top 10, like at 10 or 11, you're talking about averaging 25, 26 points per game. And with a defense like they already have, that's not out of the realm of possibility that they start 3-0. I'm not saying that it's likely, because I still think the 49ers are going to be a very difficult team, and chances are they're losing that game in Santa Clara. But this is still a really good football team. This is still a really, really good football team. And you have to trust the coaching staff that they'll be able to figure out. I went to a game last year. I was covering a game last year where the Jets lost their all-pro corner, their starting corner, and they were starting their 5th-string corner and their 6th-string corner, and somehow won the game. And turned the ball and forced 4 turnovers. You can't tell me this coaching staff is bad on the defensive end. If Reddick is not here, if there's a major injury, they're going to be okay, because the coaching staff, we can argue about the offensive staff all we want. But if there's one thing we know, this coaching staff, Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich, these guys know how to coach up defensive players. That's why I think Will McDonald's going to be fine. It's why I think Jermaine Johnson's going to be fine. It's why I think Michael Clemens is going to be fine, even though people tend to freak out about what he's shown on tape so far. I'm not really that worried, because the Jets just find a way to put up a top 10 defense every year now. So I think people need to sort of come back in and relax a little bit. Reddick does not have the leverage. Will he make this team better? Absolutely. No one is denying that. He is an elite pass rusher who deserves to be in this conversation.
Man,
but
you've reinstilled new confidence, though.
But that doesn't mean the Jets are in trouble without him there.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's a great way to put it, because it just reinstills confidence. You're right. This defense is badass. So they've been doing badass things the last couple of years, and this defensive coaching staff has figured out, again, I still can't believe that Eagles game and Tay Hayes.
Yeah, neither can I.
Craig. Yeah, well, that's probably true.
That was a nightmare in the press booth. I'm like, okay, I just have to tell the facts of what's going on, but I really want to pull my hair out.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's painful. But I don't know what's crazy.
Brutal for me, not brutal for you guys.
Well, that's true. That was great for us. But that's a thing that so I wake up from a nap. I was napping with my daughter on Monday when I woke up to the news that Haason Reddick had demanded trade. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But I'm not sure what's crazier, that or Alan Lazard beating Sauce Gardner in practice in a play. He caught a pass and said, "See ya." Gave up the Tyreek Hill deuces, and he was in the end zone. What in God's green earth? I thought it was kind of like a Alan Lazard summer season, woo! But all of a sudden, whoa! Are things getting serious here? Is Alan Lazard just reborn?
Yeah, no, I think that's the best way to put it. We have to kind of remember, everyone says, well, Lazard is only as good with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Yeah, that's the point of having a Hall of Fame quarterback. Other players, mediocre players, look elite when he is throwing the football. So, I mean, the best example, of course, James Jones and Geronimo Allison. Geronimo Allison, I guarantee you, most people listening probably don't remember him. But at one point, he was one of Rodgers' trusted receivers for the Green Bay Packers that helped him get to the conference championship. average players at best, but that doesn't mean that they weren't, they didn't have some talent that Rodgers could tap into. The fact that Lazard beat Sauce Gardner in a practice, is that going to happen every day in a game? No. But the fact that this is happening to the number one cornerback on the planet, and it's literally, he made the catch, and it was a really good catch. I'm not taking anything away from it, but the throw was, you looked at it and it's just like, all right, well, that's just unfair. There's nothing Sauce can do. If Patrick Surtain was there, Jalen Johnson was there, they're losing that battle every time if the throw is that perfect. This is why I say the Reddick issues, all this other stuff, it needs to be taken with context because, yes, the Jets could use him as the icing on the cake against some of these elite talents, but this defense was in it. This team was in it against the Chiefs last year. They beat Philadelphia. They were in some close games against some really good football teams. And that was with Zach Wilson at quarterback. So, personally, with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball like this, I'll see you in the conference championship game because you just need your defense to be 15th in the league and not one of the worst in the league for Rodgers to get there. And he's showing it once again.
All right, let's jump to some other topics. Olu Fashanu, cross-training. He had been exclusively at left tackle. Now he's getting some run at right tackle. Dennis Green, do we crown him? Do we crown his ass? Is he officially now the swing tackle? Because it seemed like the Jets are going to have Olu Fashanu as the lead left tackle insurance. And at right tackle, the battle between whoever, Carter Warner, Max Mitchell, it seems like Max Mitchell has looked really good this offseason. It was going to be him. But now Olu cross-training and having the former number 11 overall pick on both sides, is he going to officially be crowned the swing man? So if issues happen to Morgan or Tyron, he would plug and play wherever necessary.
I think that's what they want to do. Okay. And I will say to Fashanu's credit, he was awesome. He was damn awesome in that first preseason game. And the Jets have been thrilled with what they've seen out of him. He looks like an all-pro caliber tackle right away. Right away. He's looked that good. If he's starting on any other team right now, if he was on any other team, he is starting week one, no questions asked. The fact that he's playing behind Tyron Smith will allow him to learn the game, make sure that he's there 100%, but also get a lot of practice reps with this first-team offense. And the next step to this process, and I stress process, is making him a swing tackle, make him be able to play on the right side as well, because he hasn't really done that. We talked to Keith Carter on Monday, and the one thing that he said is, we're not going to force him into anything that he's uncomfortable with. If he is not doing well at right tackle, then we will leave him at left tackle. It's a touch-and-go process, but we want to see what he can do. We want to give him the opportunity to grow into this position. He's not going to be the swing tackle for long. In 2025, he is going to be the starting left tackle for the New York Jets. It's just a matter of making sure that you have your resources, as many resources as possible along the offensive line, to better the group in total. Whether it's Moses going down for a game, you can throw Fashanu in at right tackle. If Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses go down for a game, you keep Fashanu at left and Max Mitchell at right, but you have the ability to cross-train these guys, mix them up so they're more comfortable with each other. The Jets have loved what they have seen from Fashanu, and for all intents and purposes, he has been the reason why, and it seems like they have made the right choice to take him over Brock Bowers with the 11th overall pick. Whether that continues into a game is yet to be seen, but they have been thrilled with him. The next step of that process is to give him the opportunity to learn both sides.
Yeah, well, that is intriguing, again, to make sure you maximize your first-round pick. Now, Aaron Rodgers joined Boomer and Geo, and he was asked, I want to be specific on the question so people don't misrepresent this answer that's about to come out, but Boomer Esiason, former Jets quarterback, asked Aaron Rodgers if he wants to play in the preseason. Do you want to get out there? Do you want to feel that rush again? Here was the quote from Aaron Rodgers, quote, "I don't know. Not really. I mean, I don't think I need to as long as I'm making the right reactions in practice," end quote. Now, nothing's been official. Salah's been asked several times, is he playing? Is that? Preliminary discussions, blee, blah, blue, blah, blee. Okay, with Aaron Rodgers saying that, it sounds like these discussions have progressed to a point where perhaps it looks like Aaron Rodgers just kind of cool not playing in the preseason. And if he's cool not playing in the preseason and admitting it publicly, it seems like probably the majority of the starters for the Jets aren't going to play in this preseason. Am I making a stretch here, or is that the conclusion you also made, Detective?
Yeah, they haven't announced it as of this moment, I mean, they could announce it later today, but for all intents and purposes, I don't think any of them are playing. They know that health is the one thing that can keep them out of the playoffs when fully healthy. This is a playoff team at worst, a playoff team at best, a conference championship, Super Bowl contender. So why force it? Why threaten injuries to some of these older veterans? And then if the older veterans aren't there, why are you putting out the young guys on the field as well? Like if Aaron Rodgers is playing, if Aaron Rodgers is not going to play in the preseason, why would you throw out Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson? Well, if you're not throwing those guys out, why would you throw out Allen Lazard in the first place? You want to see the rookies. You want to give some of these other guys a chance to really make a name for themselves. Those kind of games are perfect ground for Malachi Corley to do something. I thought he did really well on Saturday, but there's really no point to playing, these top guys right away in the preseason.
Yeah, and I think I agree. And really, even the only starter they did play, technically too, if you pay attention to the unofficial depth chart with Michael Clemens, but putting him aside, the only true actual starter, not talking about even a rotation, is Joe Tippmann. And he worked with Tyrod, seemingly had no snapping issues, and then he was out. Yeah, it seemed that way. So it seems unlikely. We'll see what happens. So we'll have the joint practice coming up with Carolina, plus the preseason game. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. But the phone lines are now open. You guys can call into the show if you'd like. It is the pinned comment on YouTube. We have 500 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. And also, as we're waiting for those callers to come in, I see they're about to. This guy is coming on the screen, and he was immortalized yesterday. A shout out to Snowball for making this wonderful emoji, Ricky New York, in an ice cube. That must be a tip of the cap to the Wi-Fi situation that Ricky occasionally happens, but we love that he progresses through. So there you go, Ricky. You are forever immortalized, quite literally, in a block of ice to preserve you and make sure we keep you looking as young and healthy as you normally look. So let's bring him in. Ricky New York Live joins us here on the show. Ricky, how do you feel about being immortalized in emoji form?
That is awesome. That is awesome. That was on the afternoon show, so I actually missed it. I didn't find out until this morning, but that's great. That is awesome. Props to Snowball on that one. Great job.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Snowball.
This Reddick situation, as ugly as it is, looking at the big picture, it doesn't really surprise me because, like you said, that agent is responsible for all the big name guys holding out right now. But like Nick said, he's also Debo's agent. He's also A.J. Brown's agent, who threatened to hold out last year and demanded the trade when he was in Tennessee. Like the trade demand is this agent's signature move. I said it yesterday. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So it really doesn't surprise me. But I mean, man, it's just, this is like the most ass backwards way to go about something. I want more money, so I'm going to get fined a buttload of money each day. And if he doesn't watch it, he's going to end up playing for a fraction of the 14 he's scheduled to get. And I mean, at some point, I believe it becomes like 15% of his salary. At this point, he's just losing money. He's not really gaining any ground. So it really, I guess, boils down to how much is he willing to lose. Another take that I heard yesterday that was being made on another show said, they keep saying they're only worried about the guys that are in the building. Well, why don't we extend Michael Carter now then? Well,
great.
I think people are getting upset, and we're so upset with this Reddick situation that now we're just wanting results for the sake of results. Dude, it's no secret that DJ Reed has felt slighted with no Pro Bowls or anything since he's been here. How do you think that's going to make him feel if they pay Carter and not him? You don't want to start some kind of corner controversy by paying one guy and not another right now. I think the Jets are handling that completely appropriately because, I mean, I think Conklin is a little bit more even-keeled and would handle it a little bit better if somebody got paid. But dude, you got several guys on expiring deals. You don't want to pay one and not the others and make them feel devalued. I think that JD's taking the complete right approach by waiting. And
Ricky,
I mean,
I'll ask you this though. I'll ask you this because it's not a bad point. I just disagree with the mindset of where DJ Reed would be coming from, because we spoke to him. We talked to him about his contract. And he was essentially saying, I know I'm most likely out of here. And that was like, I'm paraphrasing voice, but he's like, I know I'm most likely the odd man out. I'm okay with it. It's not an issue. There's not going to be an issue. I'm a leader on this defense. If he is telling you that it's not going to be a problem, get ahead of the situation. Get ahead of the situation now, because it's the same mistake you made with Bryce Huff. You could be doing the same thing with Michael Carter. Slot cornerbacks that are elite do not grow on trees like this. There's only I'd say 4 of them on the planet right now who are as good as Michael Carter. You get them locked up right away, because it could really show a sign of good faith to Reddick and say, we will work with you if you show up. Carter's been here. Yes, he's been dealing with an injury, but he's still an elite slot corner. We know that DJ Reed, we've had these conversations with them. You're the odd man out. One of the 3 is not going to stay, and Reed is the only one that was not drafted by the team. All signs point to him being the odd man out. And he seems like he understands that. He may not agree, but it seems that he understands that. And so that means he needs to put out a good season in order to get a long-term extension next year. So the motivation will always be there. It's just a question of, okay, do we want to get these contracts done now, create a little bit more cap space for it, and then show Reddick, hey, we're willing to play ball with you, but you got to be the one to come here and show up so we can get this deal done, because we're not gonna negotiate with you at a diner or your house in South Jersey. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
And let me just follow up here on the corner conversation, which is very important, because, again, remember, the Jets only have 1 franchise tag to use, and they have a ton of starters who are set to hit the open market next year. There is no specific designation for slot corner. Even though slot corners make a lot less money than boundary corners, the franchise tag number is $19.8 million, and the Jets would be crazy to use that on Carter, because the top of the slot market is $11 million. Would the Jets pay $8 to $9 million over market value? Of course not, which means that they have no choice. Like, not that they're going to get Dak Prescott, how like he can't be franchise tagged and all these things, but you may accidentally let him hit the open market because you can't tag him, because, again, that's the franchise tag number, and you would lose him. And that's the part that scares me. So if you get on top of that ahead of time, you avoid that situation, and you have the franchise tag in your back pocket for someone else you potentially want to use it on that could reach free agency.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and that's a good point. Kind of using Carter to somewhat grease the wheels with Reddick. That's a good angle that I didn't consider. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to pay Carter. I think he's the most likely to get paid out of all of our guys, and I wouldn't mind seeing it get done. I was just saying, let's be purposeful. Let's have a plan. Let's not just do something just to say we're doing something because people are upset we're not handling this other situation. It's all I was saying. Sure. But yeah, I mean, and Eccles is also a free agent after the year, and I'm not quite ready to anoint Stiggers the replacement for DJ Reed yet, but I think he could be a replacement for Eccles, because I think he could be that good. So,
on Converse. I was
just about to say there's another guy.
A replacement for Reed. I think it's Converse.
Right? Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how all those guys progress through the year. But that's pretty much all I got this morning. I just wanted to throw that out there, and considering this agent's track record and what he does, I'm not surprised with the trade. But he's not going anywhere. Like at this point. And I absolutely love the way that JD put out that statement and let him know we're not BSing around. You're a member of the Jets. The paperwork says so. We traded for you. That's it. And not that we own him as a person, but we own his rights. We own his services. And just like in my industry in the past, like there's places that I worked where I had to sign a no compete clause. I couldn't work within 100 miles if I quit. So that's just the way it goes. But at this point, he's just losing money, and it would behoove him to show up.
That it would, Ricky.
All right, guys, have a great day. Good work as always.
And look at you, remembered forever, Ricky. You're not dead, of course, but remember forever as you continue to be alive. It's terrific. Absolutely. All right, let's go to another caller here. We got Dave joining us here on the channel with the Asmaniac bucket hat. Great representation, my friend. How are you?
Good. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Nick. How are you today?
Great.
You know, all that makes great sense what Ricky says about the future negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one problem. They don't win this year. This is Douglas, 2024, you win or you're out.
Yeah.
He made his bed with this guy, Reddick. Howie Roseman didn't want to pay Reddick, okay? So he and Joe Douglas, good friends from past, from when Douglas worked in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how he did not know this was going to happen. Players, you can't take their word. Agents, the way the whole thing is working out. He either signs this guy this year, or if they don't win, they've won nothing so far. We all know that. And Nick, you could call this an elite defense, but when they can't stop the run in big spots. Okay, that's the nature of this nut wide nine. Listen, I've seen good defenses. I've seen the Jets when they won the '69 Super Bowl. Okay, I've been around a long time for this. I don't want to, hammer the point, that the curses or whatever, but they have to win this year. What Ricky says, yes, they have to sign these core players, but he doesn't win, he's out. So you explain this whole situation to me. He's got to sign this guy. He could, Reddick, I don't know if he is fiscally responsible with his money, but I mean, he apparently they set the number and that's it. He's not going to, maybe he sits. Le'Veon Bell said he ruined his career. So, I mean, explain this whole thing to me.
I just think the one thing I do want to add, I think the rushing numbers are a little skewed. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Jets are the best run defense in the league, but they're run on the third most time of any NFL team last year out of 32 teams. That was for two reasons. They were losing all the time. So, why would they pass if they could just run? And two, Zach Wilson was on the other side. And I'm sure the coaches said to themselves, if we just keep running the ball, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. And guess what? That strategy worked because they did shoot themselves in the foot.
They lost against 13-8.
Once they lost,
exactly my
once
point.
They lost Al Woods, they couldn't stop anything. Once Woods was gone, they couldn't stop anything.
Defensive lead. That's still a great defense that just got hammered by the circumstances around them, not by what they are.
Nick, it's an elite defense? When Belichick's in his heyday, he's an amoeba. He knows how to adjust on the fly. That's an elite defense. That's an elite defense.
They were ranked. Their defense was ranked in the
What's
20th. That? Their defense, the Patriots' defense in Belichick's heyday,
situational defense, Nick. Situational.
Right.
Okay.
But
you can't tell me Belichick did. Pardon me.
Why can't you trust Robert Saleh to do it? He's shown that to this point.
He hasn't won anything. That's why I can't trust him. You know what? You have to. I've watched this guy on the sidelines. He just, he and Ulbrich, they work together great. I'm not saying that. They just, they come, they just come up $1 short in the big situations. That always happens. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not an elite defense in my mind, Nick. I can't call that an elite defense. Elite defense adjusts in situations.
The only thing
you
that
stopped the other team.
Yeah, the only thing, Dave, that's going to answer your qualms is proof. The Jets winning ball games and the Jets defense delivering in big moments. And because I would say this for
that's
Saleh,
what I say.
Yeah, I know, and I'm just saying that Saleh hasn't had great quarterback play or good quarterback play or average quarterback play for his entire time here, so it's hard to judge. But sometimes that's it. Arthur Smith in Atlanta, he never had a good quarterback, and then he got hired and fired before he ever found one. So sometimes you don't get the chance, but Robert Saleh has the chance with Rodgers. If he's good, 1 second, Dave, if he's good with Rodgers, then everyone's going to shut up and say, oh, he's the greatest coach of all time. If he's not, his head's going to be on a pike outside the organization. So
I think
Douglas drafted. Yeah, Douglas drafted Zach Wilson, so we know so everybody gives him a break. But we know the guy was garbage. He had a 10-cent head. He couldn't figure it out. they went by that combine because he threw a big pass. I mean, you or me could, in any good day, could have threw a pass like that, probably in our youth. But okay, this is 2024 is make or break for the both of them. So they don't sign Reddick, they have a limited pass rush because the deals they did. You don't want to sign off and whatever. I mean, we'll see what happens, but he's put his head in a platter here, so. Everybody seems to give this guy a break. So this is it for them. If they don't sign him, boom, boom, he'll be out the door to both of them because they need that pass rush. I mean, that's my own opinion. And as far as the elite defense,
we can have different opinions.
You'll never get me to say
I know you have to go real quick. Nick, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. I appreciate it, Nick.
All right, guys. Take care, guys. Take care.
Okay. Yeah, so I appreciate it. And thank you, Dave, too, apparently. But yes, I just want to reiterate that I am cool. I don't know if any show is cooler with different opinions than me. I love different opinions. Bring them down, baby. We got more calls. We're going to get to all of them. I'm totally cool. The run defense, let's see. To me, I can look at the run defense and say, they were run on the third most time, again, out of attempts. So think about that. So that means opposing teams, add them all together, all the opponents that the Jets played last year. The Jets were rushed on third most in the NFL. So teams decided just to run it down the Jets' throat. So I think the numbers are a little skewed because they had such a volume that, sure, their pass defense was awesome, but because other teams didn't want to test it and the talent was really good. So they ran it down their throats. Now, to Dave's point, is it because the run defense is god-awful? Maybe. Is it because of what some people have said, that the moment that Al Wood's Achilles blew out, that the Jets' rush defense that was fine just went to total crap? We'll see. To me, I think the Jets are going to be playing with a lot more leads in 2024, which means teams won't have the option to run the ball a lot because they're going to have to play catch up with the Jets. So, again, we'll see. The Jets play a lot of really good rushing teams. We will see if that is indeed the case. Keep the calls coming, everybody. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Let's also spread up the memberships, baby. Let's give a quick shout out here for a moment. We talked about Ricky New York. He is forever immortalized. Both of these emojis were unlocked on my afternoon show, Boy Green Meets Woody. So Ricky New York here. We also have EZ. So whenever he calls in, he's got his own emoji too. Peter Griffin, the Jet Hat, and all that jazz. He is also immortalized forever in emoji. We're like 45 and change or something, maybe 47, 48. We're a long way away from the next emoji, but hey, baby, we could chip away every day and see what's popping. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got NY Jets FL. You're next up on the show. What's up, pal?
Paul, good morning. A lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on. Let me say this about Joe Douglas, okay?
Okay, sure.
If he was fired, he'd have a job tomorrow from multiple teams.
I agree.
Just for his drafting prowess and his trading of Jamal and other things. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go.
Okay.
I saw a rumor on the internet about the Bucs getting a yeah, right. Wanting Reddick, okay?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, and I know it's probably agent talk, floating out stuff or whatever. And Joe Douglas is such a great, trader. And the Bucs have a lot of salary cap. You think we can get a second or a third for him? I'll be honest.
I do not.
They lost Shaq Barrett. You don't think so? Okay.
That would be funny to Shaq Barrett, a guy we wanted, we couldn't get, goes to Tampa, he retires, and then the desperation of it ends up resulting in them trading with us to get him. Like Rick Stroud, who's a great Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat reporter down there in Tampa, and he's great. He has been covering the Buccaneers for the Tampa Bay Times for a very long time. He said this yesterday because it's funny. Someone asked him on social media about Haason Reddick. He said, my info on this situation is it won't happen in Tampa regarding a Haason Reddick trade. What's more, the Jets aren't shopping him either. He has no leverage. Eventually, he's going to show up and play for the Jets. That's Rick Stroud of the who covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So while they have money, and that's like, I think for the people in our audience that is like, okay, maybe a Haason Reddick trade can happen. who are the teams that could absorb the contract and do that sort of thing? So like Arizona's come up from his past and a few teams. So to me, these are some speculation pieces until said otherwise, outside of it, of rumors beyond it. That to me would be interesting. But yeah, from what I'm hearing from Tampa Bay people, that is unlikely. But it makes sense. The injury, like Arizona just lost BJ Ojulari, the brother of Aziz Ojulari. They need pass rushers. That one makes sense. Tampa Bay, in theory, with the Shaq Barrett injury, that makes sense. So the injury part makes sense, but apparently from Buccaneer people, they're not going to be willing to do it.
Also, Reddick was drafted by the Cardinals anyway. I'm not like advocating for a trade, but
Sure.
we don't want to sign somebody for say 22 million and then have him get 5 sacks. I mean, if anything, I would keep his salary, like I said yesterday, and give him 500,000 per sack. 10 sacks will give him extra 5 million. That'll keep him from pulling a not Sheldon Richardson. Who was the Jets free agent we signed who just stunk it up after he got his contract?
That does not cover a lot of ground.
Several. I'm thinking of one
doesn't narrow down the field.
I'm thinking
of
one
in
particular.
Yeah.
He signed a big deal and then he just couldn't do anything. Somehow after that he lost his drive to perform when he got his bag.
And you said what position did he play?
Like defensive tackle, maybe in the mid 2000s.
That's gonna get me now because, I love remembering horrible Jet free agent pickups of the past.
No, I think we drafted him, and it wasn't a free agent though. It was.
If it's draft, you're talking about Dwayne Robertson, right?
No, not him. There was another one. No, it was.
That's painful. It's painful that there's another one.
I probably shouldn't have brought it up unless I had the facts. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Maybe I'll catch on the next one.
Okay.
I don't know how this is resolved. I keep saying it. We don't want to sign a guy who's just not going to perform, and you don't know how bad the blood's going to be when he comes in. The longer this goes, I think the better blood. You think they can turn the page, Paul, that quickly? If he comes in, say after San Francisco, he's not in game shape, let's say.
Yeah, I think what they would do is, again, I forget the name that they use, where it's like a call to protocol, whatever. It's a fancy word Robert Saleh uses to get the players ready, play to something protocol. I probably same thing as you. I shouldn't have said it if I didn't know what it was. But whatever that word is what they would do. So let's say, to your point, San Francisco comes, Jets kick San Francisco's ass. They didn't need Reddick, and he's just like, all right, F it, I got to come in. And then he comes in. I think the Jets would just slow play his ass, get him back in football shape and things of that nature, and his percentages would just increase. It'd probably be 10 to 15 premium third down pass rush snaps, and then more and more and more and more as we go through the season. And hopefully it doesn't take all the way to the bye week, which, by the way, is all the way in week 12. Hopefully it doesn't take all the way till then, till he's fully operating. But obviously, the more we wait here and the more he kind of gets thrown into the deep end of the pool, that's where we get into some real issues of making sure that he's legitimately ready for the season. So, no, I don't think it's unrealistic if he comes in midseason, again, to your point, week 1, week 2, that eventually he could get there. But we're just going to have to be incredibly patient, which is something I'm sure Jet fans will not want to hear because they were like, damn, if he just would have shown up like right now, then we wouldn't be dealing with any of this. And that would be true. But I think they would completely slow play it, and he would just kind of incrementally work himself up.
Well, that's one way to save salary. I mean, let's just say this. What if we could win? We still could win week 1, okay?
I think so, too.
Especially if Ayuk is gone and McCaffrey's, back, he's still injured. That's true. But what if he doesn't come in after week 1 and look at our schedule's weak? There's no, I wouldn't say there's no urgency to bring him in, but the urgency may be a little bit lessened. If, Ricky just texted me. Wilkerson. Thanks, Ricky.
Oh, Muhammad Wilkerson.
Ricky
I didn't realize you were talking about so recent. I thought when he said mid-2000s, like 2005, 2006, who could he possibly talk about? Oh, yes. Muhammad Wilkerson, who just ahead of the franchise tag deadline got $96 million, and we were like, woo! After he had a double-digit sack season, I'm like, this is going to be great, and completely falls off a cliff, shows up late to meetings. plays for Green Bay for 5 seconds and then retires. Ugh.
Yep. So that's, I don't think he's that kind of character player, but
No, I don't think
you
so
never
either.
know.
Yeah.
At some point.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, true.
All right, Paul, every day it's another drama, right? Last year, our drama was Zach Wilson. And then it was Rodgers, then it was Zach, then it's Rodgers, and then it's Rodgers again, and now it's, Reddick.
I prefer this drama this year. If I get to pick, I prefer what we're dealing with right now. Yeah.
I agree. All right, Paul. See you tomorrow.
All right, there he is, NY Jets FL, joining us here on the show. I was just informed that there was a YouTube super chat from the beginning of the day, so that can happen, or not super chat, rather. Oh, there it is. This is from 806. Oh, maybe there's two of these in here. I will see what I can do here. Let me play the chimes. Let me see if I got it shared. Okay, 1 second. We have a new member to the club. He gifted a membership to Goose McGee. But there might be two memberships that you've gifted, MFC, because I thought I saw one at the beginning of the show as well. Let me see if I can pull that one up as well. I'm so sorry for those I might have missed, but thank you to Jared B., our moderator, for keeping me on my business here. For that as well. Good Lord. We've had a lot of comments here. We love it. And I see all the calls too. I'll get to all you guys here in just a second. Just trying to see if there was another membership, which I thought there was. Okay. I guess it was the 8:06 a.m. one. Okay, beautiful. Thank you to MFC for gifting another membership. You can either gift a membership or punch in your own ticket, baby, by hitting the link down in the YouTube description. That's how you can punch your own ticket in to the Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Thank you to Jared B. for that. Just the one. Okay. Thank you, MFC, for that. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got a lot of callers waiting. We'll go to Tim from Fishland. What's up, Tim?
Good morning, Paul.
Look at that palm tree. What a view.
A lot of Florida callers today.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Well, listen, when it all comes down to it, I think the Reddick situation is going to end here in a week or two. The guy can't continue to lose money. All right, and the trade request thing is the agent's last ploy to try to get something done. All right, and he needs to figure out that nothing's going to get done. Maybe he should have came into camp. Maybe he would have got something done in person.
Yeah.
I completely agree with what Jody's doing, because if somebody, there's an old saying: when you renege on a gentleman's agreement, a handshake agreement, it's just not going to work anymore after that.
Yeah, I'm again, as a military boy born and raised, they say the only thing you have when you go to your grave is your word. So that's something that's always been very important to me.
Yep, exactly. Other than that, team looks great. Did you watch the One Jets Drive episode?
I've not seen it yet. I had to catch up on Hard Knocks because I have to talk about it on the radio today, but I still have to watch it. I'm going to watch that tonight.
Okay, it was good.
Oh, good.
It was
good.
Great.
I can't wait.
Rodgers apparently looked good yesterday in practice. I like how Salah is amping up the training camps. I think this training camp's different than the last ones. I think he's making the team go harder.
It is. This last one yesterday, for those who don't know, they had their hardest practice, or it was this week, rather. I think it was yesterday, was the hardest practice of the year, where they just, it was 2.5 hours or something of, smacking each other around. So that's great. I love the physicality we're seeing. Where it's taking it to another level.
You got to callus up for the season. That's how you prevent injuries.
Straight.
If you know what I mean? The offensive line's got to be able to hit. You got to callus up. All right. Yeah. It's the CBA has literally made it to where they're trying to protect players, but really it's hurting players, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you an example. If I got a job chopping wood, and I never chopped wood before, and I had to do 3 pallets.
All right.
I'd hurt myself in a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean? You got to callus them hands up. All right. Other than that, you'll enjoy the new Madden when it comes out on Friday.
Great. I think it's Friday. You said, okay, cool. I can't wait.
The only thing that kind of irks me is because of the new ranking system. I think that they have done away with custom playbooks. You can still use the custom playbook on different modes, but you can't do it on head-to-head ranked, which pisses me off. because I like to make my own playbook with my own audibles.
Naturally, right? Yeah, that makes
You
sense.
know what I mean? So when I see something in the defense, this and that, but they have to work on some other things. I think in that game, they got to work out some kinks, like it's the gameplay, missed tackling, misanimations, and stuff like that. They definitely need to work out some kinks. So,
Okay.
but I found me a man defense that is so goddamn sticky. So
That doesn't sound great to me at all. I'd rather you have not have found that defense, to be quite frank. But that's
yeah.
I can't wait though. For all the people that enjoy doing the Madden streams and stuff, we'll have it later this week for the new Madden, so that'll be really cool. I can't wait.
But I will tell you what, man, the offensive playbooks in this game are ridiculous. Like, I think the Bengals playbook is like every shotgun that they've ever made, every shotgun formation that they've ever made. The Dolphins playbook, they got a shotgun formation that's in there that has got so much motion in it. It's ridiculous.
Tim, let me ask you this real quick. You have College Football 25, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I guess I can't ask you then. But Brandon, who, by the way, is a guy who dips in both, he plays and he says this new Madden games blows College 25 out of the water, which is a wow statement because most people have said that the College Football 25 was so kick-ass that Madden could never reach up to it. So for Brandon to say that is really interesting. I'll be able to give my own taste on Friday, Saturday, whenever I get a chance to give it a whirl, but that should be interesting.
Oh, you could do Thursday at midnight if you're up.
Yeah, that'll probably be my best bet because Friday I'll be at work all day. So, yeah, I'll give it a whirl at Thursday at midnight then. Can't wait.
Yeah, I was so mad, man, when I made my playbook and I'm trying to find my playbook and head-to-head ranked. Sure. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then I realized because they switched the ranking system to the whole bronze, silver, gold, platinum, this. Like you got different tiers. They probably want to make it to where everybody is evenly matched.
Oh, that makes sense.
You see what I mean? Because
same playing
when
field,
you have a custom playbook,
right?
When you have a custom playbook, you can, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of an advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I guess.
Agree. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
because you don't have the default, substitutions or audibles. So we'll see.
Okay, great.
So, they definitely got some kinks to work out though in that game. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure. Well, I'm glad you're out there on the kinks, but hopefully it's all figured out by Friday, baby. That's what I'm hoping.
The running game needs to be improved. I'll tell you that. I don't know what it's definitely more of a passing game this year.
Okay, well, I'll have to give that a whirl. Well, Tim, thanks, brother, for the call. Appreciate it.
No problem.
There he is, Tim from Fishland, joining us here on the phone lines. Again, keep them coming, baby. Got plenty of calls to go. Let's go to, there was two people that were immortalized forever on the Boy Green channel. And the more you call in, the more interact, the more chances you have potentially to be the next emoji here on the channel. We've had Ricky New York, the Ice Cube. He's one of the best. And then this other guy, Easy OC. Let's go to him on the phone lines as he has his own emoji now here on the channel. And you're remembered.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah,
you're killing me.
There you go. Shout out to Snowball for cranking that emoji out. Easy, you're now remembered forever.
I am not that fat.
Yeah, he's got to. I guess he's got to get that emoji.
You know what would be a great emoji though?
What's that?
I'll tell you what would be a fantastic emoji.
Okay.
A clean-shaven picture of Boy Green.
Oh, boy. Wow. That would be...
Do we have to go back to 7th grade?
We'd have to go back to me in the womb, to be honest. I've had a mustache since, 4th grade. Yeah, I remember...
Oh, my God, that's funny.
And that's I'm not even kidding. I went to... I used to live down in South Carolina, and I remember going to my friend's house when I was in 4th or 5th grade, and then the father, the senior father that I went to go see him, he went, "Get that caterpillar off your lip, boy." And I was like, "Sorry, sir, I don't. I didn't know that I could get facial hair at 10 or God knows whatever age I was." So yeah, I've had facial hair forever. So that would be a deep cut. I'll see what I can do on that front.
That's funny. Anyway, I was trying to figure out. If I was Joe Douglas, sorry I'm not looking in the camera, but I don't want to die.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I also don't want you to die, so the feeling's mutual. No, continue to look at the road, please. I just love hearing your voice.
Okay. Anyway, so I was trying to come up with scenarios that we could use with Haason Reddick.
Okay.
And here was one of my scenarios. You tell his agent and him and his mother and father, whoever's come to camp.
Yeah.
Just by coming to camp, I'll guarantee the 14 mil. This is providing you play for us, though.
Yes.
You know, just coming to camp, your 14 million's guaranteed. And then everything is staged up. We'll give you a $2 million raise to get you up to 16 mil. And then after that, everything is incentive. Like if you get 8 sacks, you get a certain amount of money. You get 9, it doubles. You get 10 sacks, that doubles. You get 11 sacks, it goes up a little more. You know what I'm saying? Make it an incremental thing. So if he wants 24 million, we will give you 24 million. Go out there, come to camp, go out there and play, and earn your fucking money. Earn it.
That makes sense. Incentive built and
you
motivate
earn your money. It's on you.
Yeah.
It was on you to do all this holdout stuff and to lose all this money in fines. Now it's on you to recoup it all. But we will guarantee you 14 in case you get hurt.
Sure.
I think that's fair because they're under no obligation to do a damn thing.
Definitely not.
But I think if they say, come to camp, like the other guy said, come to camp, put the jet hat on, you know.
That's going to smooth a lot of things over, I think. I think it's very intense right now. It's very awkward. Again, I think the Jets don't have to do anything, but it's just weird because, like, you know, you have this player. 89 of the 90 players are at camp. The only one who isn't is Haason Reddick, excuse me. So, again, him showing up, smiling, signing autographs, kissing babies, that would just smooth over a lot of things, and I think the Jets would be a lot more willing to talk in that atmosphere.
Yeah, like Joe D did was when he put that notice out, that press release. I mean, he basically said, Haason, the ball is now in your court.
Yeah.
It is up to you to do whatever the hell you want to do. It's up to you. You come to camp and play nice. We'll play. We'll put something together for you, but you got to come and play. You got to play.
Yeah, straight up.
One thing about yesterday's practice, I was watching Jake Asman at around like 3-4 o'clock or something like that.
Sure.
And I was listening to him do the play-by-play. Couldn't really watch it, but I was listening to him. And then later on, I saw some of the plays. Sauce Gardner was blanking. Blanking him. And that ball just dropped right in Brees's hands. I mean, Rodgers is just a demon. He's incredible.
I have to look at all the highlights from yesterday. I haven't seen them all. I've only seen a few. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's got the best touch on a football of probably any quarterback that's ever played.
I mean, can't wait to see it in the season. 30... We've seen it for Green Bay. We've seen it for others. Like on a Monday Night Football, Jets 49ers, he gets like a soft touch to Brees Hall on a 50-yard bomb for a tutty. I'm just going to lose it. I don't know what I'm going to do with my body. I'm just going to They
actually had Brees Hall lined up as a wide receiver on that play.
Which is great. They did that a lot in camp last year where you'd go 5 wide, 4 vert, Brees Hall slant cut underneath, and you'd go against the grain of the defense, and that had a lot of success last year. I don't know why they never used that in the season.
Safeties and linebackers cannot cover Brees Hall.
No.
Safeties and linebackers cannot cover Braylon either.
Definitely not.
But Jesus Christ, when everybody's back, when we have G, and then when we have Mike Williams, and then we have Corley, and Jesus Christ, excuse me.
And Mike Williams is looking good, by the way. There's some
he's
coming from reporters of tight cuts already. I mean, damn, he's coming faster than we thought. Blessed be he. We are long overdue for the injury bug to help us the other way of gracing us, and it seems like he's gracing us in a lot of respects. So, again, God bless America.
I mean, whether Haason plays or not, we still have a top 5 defense.
Yeah, I think I needed to be reminded of that, to be honest, EZ, from Nick Ferry and you saying it just now and others. Like, the defense is awesome, and obviously we knew all the players on it, but it just feels good for a few more people to say that. You're like, you know what? Maybe. Like, Haason Reddick would help, obviously. How could he not help? But, like, damn, the group's pretty good. The group's pretty good.
I would like to see Will McDonald put on 15 pounds of muscle, though.
Yeah, I just wonder when he's going to be able to do it. If he couldn't do it during the offseason, it'll probably be difficult during the season. You normally lose weight going through the trials and tribulations of a football season. So.
Yeah, he should have put like 10 pounds on his thighs and another 5 to 10 pounds in his shoulders and arms.
Yeah. So it's disappointing.
Because I don't think 15, 20 pounds will hurt his speed, but it will definitely help his strength because he's got the speed rush. He's got the spin move. He's got the backspin move and the swim. But what he's lacking right now is the bull rush.
Yeah.
He needs the bull rush. I'd love to see Joe Klecko come to camp. Because
he
was
came, I think it was last year, so it'd be great to be back.
Right.
Yeah.
Joe Klecko was pound for pound, and you will have Hall of Fame offensive linemen tell you this. He was impossible to block. He was just so strong. And when we were talking about that guy with the strong hands the other day, whipping the quarterback down in that preseason game, if you look at plays with Joe Klecko grabbing onto Phil Simms and just whipping him to the ground, and just he would grab you in those claws of his, and he would just with his arms just rip you to the ground off your feet. He could literally pull you off your feet just with his arms.
Yeah,
that's what he would be probably the most amazing strength and conditioning coach in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, he would be. There's no doubt about it. I hope they keep him around. I love it when organizations keep their legends around, keep them involved, keep them engaged, make them a part of the community. And obviously they did that last year for all the Hall of Fame stuff, but it would be great to keep that connection alive, I think.
And I was recently, now that Joe is in, I was recently looking at some stats.
Sure.
Gastineau's stats are every bit as good as Klecko's. The only thing that Gastineau lacked in his game was a little bit of edge contain and run defense. But
and some people would say humility, unfortunately,
Nobody has humility now.
That's also true, which is kind of funny, right? Everyone celebrates sack dance and everything now, yet Mark Gastineau, unfortunately, was the poster child for all of that noise. By the way, real quick, we got a new membership to the Boy Green Coffee Club, so shout out
that's
to
great.
411 here. 1 second, here we go. And that new individual is Mr. McMoney. Money. Welcome to the Coffee Club, buddy, and appreciate you. So thank you, Uncle Tio, for that. Mark Gastineau was a beast.
So anyway, we have to get Mark into the Hall of Fame. You look at his stats; he's up there with everybody.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Isn't he a half a sack behind? Who's the giant guy who's on the news broadcasts? Oh God!
No, it can't be Strahan. It can't be
Strahan. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Isn't he like a half a sack behind Strahan?
Oh, maybe.
And Strahan only got it because Brett Favre took a dive in the backfield on a play.
Oh, yes. You're talking about the single season record. Oh, I thought you were talking about for a career for a second. Yes. Gastineau held the record forever, and Strahan got it because Brett Favre fell over. Yes. Single season, absolutely. Yes, that's true. Yes.
I think he had 20. What's the record now? 21 and a half?
It's, I believe,
22 and a half. 22 and a half.
22 and a half. Gastineau had 22 forever. Strahan got the half. That was from, again, Brett Favre falling over and giving him the record, and Jet fans are naturally pissed. Yeah.
Well, at least the record's still at the, in MetLife Stadium, so that's cool.
That's for sure. Well, Easy, thanks for the call, brother, and you are immortalized forever, pal. So you are now forever remembered in history. All right, let's keep the calls going. I see we have several calls left here. Let's go to our boy Terrence here on the show. What's up, Terrence?
Hey, what's up, Paul? How you doing?
I love it. I love the consistency. I love the studio. I love the vibe that you bring to the table.
Okay,
yes.
Well, you keep bringing up the studio, so just let you know. This poster behind me, I don't know if you guys know. A lot of Jets fans should know if you're from New York City. KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions. I don't know if you know Paul Green.
That sounds sort of familiar, but go ahead.
All right, so KRS-One is from 1986, was in the hip-hop world, and he's just huge. Okay. So I did back in 2014, I booked him for a show in Orlando. And a whole whirlwind of things happened, and that's another story on another podcast.
Okay, all right. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. That's so cool, man.
and then over here to my right over here,
Yeah.
is I had season tickets when I moved from New York City to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
I got season tickets to the Orlando Magic.
Oh, okay.
I had it for 15 years, just like the Jets. I had Jets season tickets for 15 years too.
Wow.
And I went with the Dowell Armstrong Foundation. I don't know if you know Dowell Armstrong, but
yeah, that one also sounds familiar. I don't know why my brain is not firing off its synapses today, but
well, I worked for his basketball camp.
Sure.
So I get to meet all these guys over here on the Magic team and on the Dowell Armstrong basketball camp team and everything. So it was just a big piece of my history that I figured I'd put up behind me.
I love that. And by the way, we're just getting this from DeFore11. Uncle Tio says KRS-One is on my Mount Rushmore salute. So there you go. Let's give him one of these. Beautiful. Oh,
Yes,
very
sir.
nice there on the super chat. Appreciate it, Uncle Tio. Off the rebound. Beautiful.
So a few things. Y'all already went through a few of my takes, but I had to write it down. Okay, now the Jets have an injury bug. I think we all know this. But if we transferred all the injury bug energy into this Haason Reddick, I will take that, and no one gets hurt for the rest of the season.
That's a fair trade.
You know,
I'll
you know
accept
what I
that
mean?
right now. If I could sign up for that right now, I would take that.
Yeah, like guys, we gotta be glass half full here. Come on, we over here building this team over the summer. We're all getting excited, and now we're all upset because one dude don't want to come to practice. One dude, he's not even the quarterback. Come on, guys. Hey, look, transfer all the injury bug energy to Haason Reddick. Let him sit out 8-9 games. Let him come back at the end of the season and put up his due during the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And then y'all were talking about Madden.
Yes.
So I want to bring up Madden because something happened last night. So first of all, I played the first Madden. I know probably a lot of you guys.
What was
didn't.
that? Are you talking about like the 64 version or like a 1999?
Yeah, I think it was Sega Master System.
Oh, damn. So you're talking about the OG. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I used to play with the Vikings.
Okay.
So the Vikings just got Herschel Walker. So I would do the halfback toss pass and beat everybody but my best friend.
I love Herschel. Shout out to Georgia. Shout out to Herschel. I've got Herschel's book somewhere in the house. I love Herschel Walker, man.
Yeah. So my I stopped playing Madden like PlayStation 2.
Oh wow. Okay.
Everything was on the Jets.
Yeah. Okay.
I just outgrew video games. I was like, all
Fair
right, I'm
enough.
done.
That's right.
And then last night, Richie from Jets Media, I saw a video of him. He was playing the new Madden online with someone.
Okay.
And I you watch a little bit and you fast forward a little bit. And by like the third quarter, it was 41-0.
Hopefully he was winning. I hope.
He was killing them. So a message came up saying, oh, we thought you was on a different play level than this guy. We thought y'all were the same. So what that fellow was saying, Tim, yeah, he was right that they put you in different categories now.
Interesting. Oh,
depending
I see.
on how well you how good you are.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Oh, great.
And but my final take was just, if the guy don't want to come in and play, it doesn't hurt us because we don't know what he can do for us. I know he's great.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't know anything on tape that he could do for us in what position and whatever. So I just see him as was it Chuck Clark that got hurt last season?
Last practice of OTA. Yep.
He didn't play the whole season.
That's
I just
correct.
consider Reddick in that category and pray to the gods that nobody else follows that lane and gets hurt and can't play for us.
That's
Other
fair.
than that, man, we are a Super Bowl team, guys. Don't forget how great our defense is, guys. We are good. Glass half full, positive energy everywhere, please.
There it is.
Oh, sorry.
Terrence. No, love it. And that's what I was just going to say. I love because if Reddick wants the year to count, right? So he doesn't want it to toll and then we're in the same crap next year. If somehow he held out the whole year, he has to show up. I'll look up the number so I have it for sure on another show for tomorrow. But he has to show up for a certain amount of the season for the season to quote unquote count. I think it's 6 or 7 games, 6, 7, 8 games, somewhere in that range. And to your point, let's say he's just on ice the whole year and the Jets are kicking ass all year. And now they get this almost extra acquisition because like we had forgotten about it. And then he shows up for the final, whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 weeks plus the playoffs. And then all of a sudden we're like, holy freaking crap. It's almost like we just traded for Haason Reddick again. We've been awesome. And now we can reach another level of awesome. And he's been healthy because he hasn't been doing anything. He's been on the couch this entire time. There is intrigue to that, of having him do it, and the Jets say, "Hey, we're good enough as is, pal. We'll see in a couple months."
Yep, and then if it doesn't work out, like if the worst case scenario, if you want to go glass half empty, then we just trade him by the deadline.
There you go, and send him to another contender who certainly would be looking.
Yes, because I know there's going to be some pass rush out there that's going to be on the team that's not doing well, and say, "Hey, Jets, take me." You know, and that's what I'll be looking. So Devontae Adams and a new edge rusher will be coming in by trade deadline. Yes.
Okay.
I just manifested it.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. Thank you, Terrence, for that. I love it, pal. And let's give her one of these. Beautiful. Let's keep the positive energy going here. We got a couple more calls. We'll try to get to everybody here on the show, so keep it up, baby. We got FL Phil 98 joining us here. And, oh, wow, look at that. Showing off the chest, the button-down shirt. Very nice. Okay.
Good morning, Boy Green.
It's good to see you, pal.
Good to see you too. I got a couple of quick ones. First, I think Terrence goes on the emoji list for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Let's put him on there. Yeah.
Love his takes, and I love that one in particular. He's right. You know where I've been on Reddick all this time. I thought we should extend him if we could get the right deal.
Sure.
We don't know what he was offered. I don't care if it was 20 million and he turned it down. We made him an offer. He turned it down. Mm-hmm. If it had just kept going the way it was going, worked out however it worked out, whenever it worked out. But the demanding the trade pushed it over the top. I agree with you 100%. At this point, with all the guys we have to sign in the next couple of years, you can't negotiate with terrorists. Mm-hmm. He's going to play. He's going to play on the Jets' terms completely. And anything he gets from them at this point is charity. It's just trying to, soften the edges a little bit. That's how it's going to go down. And I agree with Terrence. It could be that he doesn't come in until he absolutely has to salvage the year, and that could work out great for us. Or there was a guy named Nate called yesterday.
Yeah.
I love his take. I don't care if the guy comes in with a "I hate everybody" shirt on. Okay. That's great. Come in, get your 20 sacks, and you'll get your money next year. So that's basically the end of that. I love the new emojis. Both are excellent. You really created something here special, man. And it's funny. I kind of came in right before this thing blew up, and I've been watching it before my eyes. And wow, this thing is really coming along, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
you just have to take full credit for this, Phil, because it didn't pop. You show up, it pops. Coincidence? Well, I'll let the gods decide whether or not how they want to write history. But Phil, I think I see a commonality here. I think I said something.
I really appreciate that. I have nothing to do with this. This is all you, man. What you do is special. I watch and listen to other guys, man. There's no Boy Green out there, brother. This is all on you. So peace, love. I'm going to go quick because I know you got callers and you got to get to your show.
I appreciate that. Thanks, brother. And I was just thinking, and this is going to sound super corny, but I woke up this morning and just said, man, I love doing this show. I love having these conversations. I love taking calls. Like, I just woke up this morning. I normally have a zest for life that I try to share, but I got to tell you, man, I just woke up this morning going, I love doing this job, baby. I love friggin' doing this show, and I love the community. So I just, like I said, that probably sounds cheesy and corny and all that jazz, but it is true. Okay, we will get to our last caller. Plus, I have MFC using his member for 3 months, and thank you for being a member that long, and everybody for doing it. Paul, your take on the new cheat motion rule. So for those who don't know, last year there was a new pre-snap technique that kind of went viral in the NFL, and it's something you see in other leagues like Canadian Football League and others. What they call it is called the speed motion. The 49ers use it. The Dolphins use it. It's almost like a cheat motion where you're running before the snap, but you kind of time it out perfectly. So when you snap the ball, the running guy is in full speed instead of just starting at a stationary position and moving. but there is a new adjustment this year. It is Rule 7, Article 4, Section 2 of the official playing rules. Quote, any eligible backfield player who changes his stance does not have to come to a complete stop prior to the snap as long as his actions are not abrupt, a.k.a. false start or forward illegal motion. And this is from Mike Florio. Per a source with the knowledge of the situation, that's directly aimed at the split-second forward movement by players in motion. Teams that have used it last year include the Miami Dolphins, the San Francisco Niners, and the LA Rams, who used it last year. This is apparently trying to stop, as this article reads, the Tyreek Hills, the Deebo Samuels of the world from getting a running start. This is something we used to see in the CFL, a lot of sideways running, and this is supposed to prevent a lot of that. I think sometimes we get rules enacted, MFC, that have the intention for something, but like, how often will the refs call it? For instance, remember the rule that came out where you could get a 15-yard penalty as a running back for spearheading another individual and using your helmet, which, by the way, is something I love to do in high school. I was a shorter guy. I play running back. When I got the football, I used my head as a battering ram. So I would lower and just boom, unload into a guy and try to put my helmet into his chest plate as I try to power through him on a power move or a truck move or something. So I had a lower center of gravity. So I always tried to use some of that juicy action. But what do I make of it? We'll see how much the officials actually call it. Like I said, people thought that was going to be crazy. The helmet rule would be used all the time. It's been rarely called since the rule came into action. So I'm going to have to see it for that to be in there. Let's see. David Hall Jr. says he loves the Jets hat. Gorgeous. Brand new hat, baby. Yeah, it looks great. I also have a black version, which looks really cool. I'll debut that on the show sometime this week. Brand new, guys. Check it out on the Jets shop. It looks awesome. Okay, Nate asks, have I been tested for CTE, Paul? I'm not sure if I have, but I will tell you, random story here. I've had an unbelievable amount of concussions. Like, I can't even, the one I remember from high school that was the worst, we did Oklahoma drills where it's one-on-one, 2 pads. You got a running back and a defender, and we're supposed to bang into each other like rams with horns attached to their head. And I've done one of those before, and I got hit so hard on the head I couldn't speak. So like my coach said, Paul, are you okay? I was like, whoa, whoa. And I was unfortunately in that state for a couple of hours, and then I eventually regained my speech. So yeah, I've gotten hit in the head a lot, which I'm sure some of you probably know from listening to the show. But my father says it all the time that my mother dropped me on my head. So yeah, I lost the ability to speak for a couple hours back in high school, and that was intense on impact. Okay, anywho, well, this was a full show, but before we end it, we got 700 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, spread the gospel. Board Green Daily live every single morning at 7:30. We'll end with this. We have a few minutes here for BMAC. BMAC, how are you, pal?
Hey, Paul. Save the best for last.
That's right. See?
Again. Yeah, I'm going to make it quick because I know you got to. But, first of all, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, it's great to talk to you as always.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, see my bottom here, you know.
I see now. Yeah. Reddick the dickhead. Yeah. Red Dick. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, Red Dick. But first of all, it's interesting. The Cincinnati Bengals, Jamar Chase, right? He I think he's holding out. The wide receiver deal. He
had been holding in of where he's been there, but not participating. But I think this week was the first time they just he blew off a practice. I believe that's contract related, unless I've heard otherwise. So yes, he's been holding in, and then he just held out for that practice. I don't know if that's a thing that's going to keep coming. Yes.
And then another thing, and then the other thing that I heard that Jake said that Joe Burrow is not practicing on a consistent day.
That would be not new information to me. Let me rephrase. I don't know. I hadn't heard that, but that's possible. Sure. I trust Jake.
Yeah. If you're a Bengals fan, you need to be concerned about him not getting in consistent practice.
Right. I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny that nobody's saying LOL Bengals, same old Bengals. You know what I mean?
Go figure, right?
It's just the Jets, right? LOL Jets, Jets, or keep jetting.
I will say one team that's getting a lot of heat, and deservedly so, is the Dallas Cowboys for how they're handling CeeDee Lamb. They are getting a lot of LOL Cowboys, all in, ha, 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 ha. So they're getting laughed at a little bit. But no, it's probably the Jets and Cowboys. I don't know if there's another team that had 49ers a little bit, I guess, with the Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, and all that crap. So they're getting it a little bit too. So maybe 3 teams, I think.
Yeah, it's just amazing, man. But the one thing I want to say, of course, is about 8-8.
Yeah, right.
Yesterday, he said that he doesn't need a preseason.
Yes, we talked about that earlier in the show. Yeah, that was the quote from Boomer and Gio is where he was. Yeah.
Yeah. Now take that as you will. People are gonna go back and forth on it, have their opinions.
Yep.
To me, is what he wants. If he feels like he needs it, he then put him out there. If he feels like he doesn't need it, then he doesn't need it. He knows his body more than we do. A lot of people are concerned about him taking his first hit. What about you? Because the man's been getting hit for 20 plus years. It's not like he's a rookie. And like what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, I would say, I trusted Rodgers. If he was going to play in the preseason, he was going to play. It sounds like he's not going to play, which fine by me. He doesn't want to play. In terms of the hitting, as a guy who's come back from injuries before, like an ACL, the thing I kind of wanted was to take some physicality to trust my body that I'm back fully. That was kind of the last step for me recovering from my torn ACL, is doing some contact things. You could do stuff floating and swimming and those kind of things when you're doing training, but getting some physicality, I think, was important. And mine was an ACL compared to an Achilles. Obviously, that's a difference. But no, to be honest, you can get hit in the preseason. You can be rushed a little bit in the preseason, but nothing quite simulates a game. So regardless of whatever training or prep he does from training camp to this or that or the other, he's not going to get it full until we get to the season anyway. But as long as he said he's doing and I have the quote here, the right reactions in practice, which he has been doing, of rolling out and doing all these other things, of checking off those plays that will require him to do some movement and things of that nature, then he's okay. He doesn't need the preseason. But he said if he was not getting those, he'd do the preseason. So it sounds like he's not going to do the preseason. I'm totally okay with that.
And then if he doesn't do the preseason, and then I think there's 2 joint practices left.
Yes, Thursday, I believe. Panthers Giants. Yep.
I think it's crucial for him to play in this week joint practice, no matter what the weather is. If it's pouring rain or
hopefully it isn't.
If it's a hurricane, it's the rest of the teams out there. He needs to be out there getting reps because he needs to, play against an opposing team.
That would help.
I mean, not just against his own defense, but against an opposing team. Fair point. That doesn't know him. He doesn't know them. Figure out their tendencies. His cadence. You've been hearing a lot of people talk about his cadence. Joe Tippmann. The snap issues, those two need to get on the same page, So if regardless what the weather is, he needs to be out there this weekend during practices because there's 2 left, and again he's not going to be playing in preseason, so I think it's crucial for him to get these joint practices in. So
fair enough.
If it's a hailstorm, Robert Saleh, suck it up, put the shoulder and pads on him. Get him out there.
Okay, that's a BMAC message. I love it, BMAC. Well, thanks for calling in, brother. I appreciate it. So if it's hailing, Aaron Rodgers, get a very heavy umbrella, apparently. As we wrap up with the show, Mr. McMoney says, high school practice ain't the same, Paul. 3-a-day practices don't exist anymore. Yeah, the getting dropped off at 6 in the morning and being there till 6 or 7 at night with our 2-a-days, 3-a-days, and slapping each other around. Yeah, I miss those days, to be honest, because those were heat. We got when we're smacking pads, you think one of your teammates taking a cheap shot, it gets some intense fights and in each other's face. Yes, I love all that. MFC, didn't the NFL fine Brees for spearheading? Yeah, it was Brees Hall against AJ Terrell in the Falcons game. He didn't get the penalty for it, but he did get fined after the fact for the spearheading. But that's a great call, MFC, for that one. That did indeed happen. That was the Jets-Falcons game last year that somehow we lost 13-8. Still don't know how that happened, but thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. Thank you. I said it after the FL Phil 98 call. I freaking love doing this show. This is awesome. And this is a doozy. And we have 700 people in the room on a whatever today is, Wednesday. All the days are blending together to me. But make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. I got to run to the radio station. We also got Syracuse Mets afternoon baseball. But we will be back tomorrow. I said this on the afternoon show, but our guest over the next 2 days, we have Will Parkinson tomorrow morning, Zach Rosenblatt Friday morning, and my father will be on for both days on Saturday and Sunday. I hope you guys can check it out. Make sure you guys do your part. Like the video, hit subscribe. That makes the biggest difference in the world to the YouTube algorithm. But as FL Phil said, we're building something here. This is a community. You can join the membership group that is in the YouTube description down below. You can even join when we're not live. So click, hey, join Boy Green, the Boy Green Coffee Club right now. Boop, click that, and you can punch in your ticket. $2.99 a month. That's all it is. And join our community, which gives you a loyalty badge, unlocks all those badass emojis that Snowball's been working on, and finally, of course, access to our Discord channel. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take